African swimming pools. South Africa was on that racist shit just like America treated black folks. So in 1913, white South Africans took over South Africa with force. White South Africans stole land owned by black South Africans. Fast forward to 2025. Three of Trump's biggest supporters are three of the most richest men on the planet. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and David Sachs are three billionaires that fully support Trump. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and David Sachs are all white South Africans who were born in South Africa, white supremacy, and apartheid. Elon Musk is a white South African white supremacist. South Africa now has a black president. This South African president wants equality in South Africa. He wants the racism to stop, and he wants everyone to be treated equally. Trump and Elon Musk heard about this black South African president wanting equality. Trump immediately stopped all funding to South Africa. There are only 7% of white people in South Africa. But those white people own 70% of the land in South Africa because they stole most of that land from black South Africans. The new black South African president put a new law in place to right the wrongs that were done to black South Africans that had land stolen from them. Just like when European settlers stole America from the natives. Because the South African president wants to give back land that white South Africans stole from black South Africans, that's why Trump and his administration are saying white South Africans are being persecuted and done wrong. But white South Africans are not under persecution.
I mean, the facts are there is no systematic prosecution of white Afrikaner farmers. For the Trump administration to take the view that there's somehow systematic persecution, it's actually problematic and troublesome and damning on the way the Trump administration is receiving its information.
How are they being prosecuted when they the ones who stole the land from black South Africans? Black South Africans are the ones who originally owned that land. What's so wrong with doing right and giving black South Africans their land back? But see, this is the thing. South Africa is not even seizing land like Donald Trump is saying they are. It's a lawful process that's handled in the courts of South Africa. If someone stole land from you and your family, wouldn't you want it back? I did my research and I found out how
taking me back to the 1800s. Let me tell you why it's not going to work in America. First of all, America judges you by what you look like. Okay, that goes for everybody. How you dress, your swag, how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you behave. They're going to fail every single one of those tests. Fashion is not really a thing here. It's not like commercial fashion in South Africa. People wear anything. They don't care really too much about how their hair looks, how they're dressed. It doesn't matter. And that's kind of a great thing. It's not pretentious. You can like take your wig off, you know what I mean, and just chill. There is fashion, but the fashion is really more like the South African, the true, authentic cultural fashion. Now that's lit. But like anything else is just like, meh, it's so generic, right? So these people, they don't really dress very nicely. They just honestly look like they came out of like, off of a farm, honestly. Like they don't even try. So that's going to fail a lot. People are going to judge you based on what you look like. Welcome to Babylon. You're about to find out how people will judge you. White people will look at you up and down and be like, and X you out based on how you're dressed. Looking at your shoes, your hair. Like they're so backwards in their mentality about how they feel about black people that they're just backwards in everything else too. So there's no swag. Even when they think they're dressing nice, it's just like, even if they put these Afrikaners in like an all-white supremacist KKK area, no grown man in America, I don't care who you are, wants to pay for another grown man and his family to live on his taxpayer money. They don't need KKK members that bad to where they have to ship them in from South Africa and take care of them for a year. Not in the climate and the economic strain that America is in right now. Don't nobody want to foot the bill for no old fat dude who has like no swag. Even if Trump, because they're saying that Trump is giving them a clothing voucher or clothing funding and housing and food and vehicles and cell phones. Africans aren't used to paying prices like that. So they'll probably take the clothing funding, which I don't know how much it will be, but they'll probably be, go to like any mall or any store, anywhere, and be like, oh no, I'm not buying that for that price. So they'll find themselves at Walmart. And even though our Walmart is shitting on everything out here, it's still going to be Walmart in America. So you're never going to pass the swag test ever, right? So just off rip on sheer appearance, it's a fail. Because you're in America, America's pretentious, you are judged based on how you look and carry yourself. I stated that point. Then there's going to be the part where they open their mouth. And it's going to be like, where are you from? A French accent is at least sexy, but we know a French accent. Everyone loves a British accent. We've heard that. We know Australian, it's a little quirky, but we know that's a distinct accent. We know that one. German, that's a whole different accent. We know that one. But when you pop out with that Dutch accent, black, people are just going to say, where are you from? And that's where the problem is going to start, right there. Because when I have talked to any Afrikaner out here and said, oh, where are you from? I'm genuinely want to know, like, are you from the Netherlands? Are you from Britain? Are you from Germany? Like, where are you from? And you'll go through 10 minutes of this whole charade about, I am from Africa. It's like, okay, but where are you from? Where was your grandparents from? 5 generations, Africa. I'm born here. I am African. No, you're not. You're clearly white. Where are you? I'm just trying to find out where you're from. I just want to know your roots are British or are they Dutch? It's not a hard question. So by the time you get an answer for that, you're already going to think this person is out of their mind. They don't know who they are. They believe that they're Africans. So that's going to be the other problem. Americans don't even believe, honestly, that white people can even be Africans. Because that's not where you came from. We all know that Africa is the land of black people. It's a chocolate factory. And you didn't come from there. We all know that you came in because you call it, like, we know this already. So we don't even believe, that's going to annoy you right off the bat. And then finally, when they say where they're from, by that time, they would have spewed out so much hate and 1800s, like way back thinking that nobody's on but them. Nobody's on that page. So white people in America don't think like that. I mean, there's racism in America, yes, but it's a different type of a racism. And the majority of the people, the regular everyday people, aren't. So you're not going to even get along with white people. You think you're going to go to land, there's, 250 million white people there. They don't think like you. They do not. And American taxpayers do not want to pay for another white immigrant. They don't. We already did that with Ukraine. We did that already. Okay, America is suffering financially. So that's just one way it's not going to. The swag, the culture, how they speak, you will find out. It will blow your mind. And how they look at black people. Out here in South Africa, white people stay in their spaces. Indians are kind of sprinkled all about, but they still stay in their own groups. I'm glad that the Afrikaners are leaving because the real South Africans are so nice. They really are. Y'all don't even deserve to be around them. You don't deserve their kindness. You don't. Go on to America so that you can meet black folks who are empowered. You're not used to that. That's going to be a whole culture shock. If you haven't been outside of South Africa and seen how empowered black people are outside of this place, you need to, just like African Americans need to come here to South Africa and experience a different type of freedom over here, you need to do that. You need to experience life without the police. Seriously. And then walk into a bank, everybody's black. Walk into a grocery store, everybody's black. Walk into anywhere, everybody's black. It's so beautiful. This is the real American dream. This is the African American dream in Africa. But out in South Afrikaners, y'all not gonna make it. Pop off on a nigga, on a white person. All you got to do is just give him a beer. Give him a beer and wait. That hate is going to spew out of them, and it's going to be in such a way that's just like, ew. Like, but they're so entitled about, like, they're different. They're different. It ain't going to work. Then everything is so overpriced, they're not going to be able to handle that. Then it's raining blue in Texas and California now. What you going to do about the navy blue rain falling out the sky? You're not going to, the food is so toxic, you think you're fat now, you won't even be able to digest it. Your body won't be able to handle it. It's really bad. On top of that, our ports are empty. There's a trade war with everyone. So you're going at the absolute worst possible time when, if you thought prices were high before, whatever's left in reserves is about to be inflated beyond belief. It just, this is just a joke. I promise, if you open up your mouth to anybody, black or white or whoever, because we have the real Rainbow Nation in America, that's where there's really at, and we integrate with one another, and we have been marrying, playing, working, all of that together for a very long time. If you pop off and say any of that kind of stuff that you feel in your heart, you're going to get nizak, dizzy, fizzak, is out, is on a spizzot, TKO, out. It is not going to fly. I just see a disaster in the making. I'm sipping tea, watching how all this unfolds. I think it's going to be hilarious.
In North Carolina, I will tell you they're not our finest states, so they're a good fit for you. I understand that many of you are farmers, and I've seen a lot of people say, oh, that's great, we need more farmers. Sorry to say we don't. We actually need farm workers because we've deported most of them. So if you can, put your picking hat on and think about, picking produce, that's largely probably what you're going to be doing here, because I hear you don't have a lot of skills. I would also say that you're not going to have to hold just one job, but probably 2 or 3 to make up for your quality of life that you had back in South Africa. There'll be no servants working for $2 a day. There's none of that here. So you're the servant who's working for $2 a day. So enjoy that. You're gonna have to pay for your health care, and ordinarily, because you're a refugee who's being discriminated against, you would go on Medicaid. But guess what? The Republicans just cut Medicaid. So I don't think you're going to have that option for healthcare. So maybe you'll do without. I don't know. And honestly, I don't care. I did notice that the Episcopalian Church had a program with the government where they would, they would resettle and help, refugees resettle. They find you all to be so onerous, they terminated the partnership with the government, and they said, yeah, we won't be resettling those folks. Other things that you need to know about. While we are 58% white here in the United States, that's not going to last much longer. Within the next couple of years, we're going to be the minority, which will be fun for you because that's what you're used to. Interestingly enough, we have a ton of Latinos. We're the second largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. So for you, if you could stop speaking that dirty, guttural, whatever it is, German, French, Dutch thing that you speak, that Afrikaans, nobody wants to hear that shit. So you can speak English or you can speak Spanish, which is really the second language here. In terms of other things that you need to know about, the black people in this country, they don't get fucked with, okay? I know that there's a long legacy of colonialism and all kinds of stuff happening in your country, but our black folks have sort of been through the fire, if you will, and they're not going to be fucked with. So you're the minority here. Enjoy. I really hope you like your time here. I'm going to bet my ass that you're going to be booking it back to SA probably within the next 12 months. Have a great day.
Well, okay, so here it is. The Episcopal Church doesn't think it's right, and it's against their morale, to help resettle only white refugees. They're looking at how the Trump administration is disregarding black refugees and brown refugees, but they're okay with the white refugees. So they said, no, we're going to end our contract with the government. We're not doing that. So there's the pushback that I knew was going to come. Now, the Church World Service, which is a global group, a global faith-based group, that's a mix of a whole bunch of different denominations. They're going to still step in and do something. They're going to still step in and help resettle them. And their reasoning is because they still want to help people, no matter what. Whoever can be a refugee, they're going to help any refugee, no matter what. So that's what's going on now ever since the Afrikaners have arrived in the United States of America. Well, here they are.
Brung back. Like, it's about to be a civil war. Not even, I feel like it's already started, if I'm being totally like frank with y'all. But the fact that like this shit is getting how it is, has gotten how it is, it's literally insane to me. I'm low-key becoming at loss for words with all of this shit that's going on. But how can you claim refugee status in a situation where your peoples came to a whole different country and literally took territory, took land, killed, raped, slaughtered, trafficked, and so much more Africans? You get what I'm saying? And then you come to the United States, which we have plenty of colonizers in the United States. You know that? The amount of colored, I'm going to say, because the amount of melanated beings that's on in the United States, just period, compared to the amount of white people, is literally outranked. It's literally outranked. We outrank them. We're not the minority here. We're the superior here. And Trump bringing these fucking people back to the U.S. or to the U.S. period, letting them claim refugee status, giving them free property to stay on, giving them free assistance and all this extra shit. That is the most craziest racist shit. Like, y'all, these people are literally, like, this shit is crazy as hell, bro. It just don't make no fucking sense.
They only want white people here. Because when we think about refugees who need immediate resettlement, expedited screenings, we usually think about people who are fleeing extreme violence, persecution, famine, war in places like South Sudan, Myanmar, the Congo, not white Afrikaners. See that chartered plane the Trump administration is sending? It's not going to collect refugees that have been sitting in resettlement camps for years, fully vetted, waiting to come to the United States to escape violence. No, it's going to South Africa to collect white people who claim they're being discriminated against. Why would they be getting discriminated against? Probably because they spent generations instituting legalized forms of racial segregation and discrimination called apartheid, aka Stephen Miller's wet dream. See, while the rest of the world after World War II saw that maybe racial discrimination not such a hot idea and favored more policies of integration and away from colonization, Afrikaners doubled down on that shit and instituted apartheid. Although it ended over 30 years ago, the social and economic legacies of apartheid continue today. South Africa is the most unequal country in the entire world, according to the World Bank, with white South Africans earning over 12 times what black South Africans do. But don't worry, we're going to make sure that the white Afrikaners who instituted generations of discrimination and segregation against black people get everything they need to get started here in the United States in their new life.
Is this racism? Today, Trump welcomed a group of South African refugees into America. But on his first day in office, he essentially halted all refugee admissions programs into the country, which were mostly brown-skinned people. What do you notice about the skin color of every one of these people? Is this racism? Let me know in the comments below.
Well, aren't these just the healthiest looking refugees I've ever seen? The most nourished, the most well kept, the cleanest, most well dressed refugees I've ever seen. I've never seen such stunningly healthy, good-looking refugees in my life. Thank God America offered them refuge from South Africa. Thank God. They looked like they could not have even stood another day there. Thank God.